Hello and welcome to a quick DayZ tutorial. Today I'll teach you how to get the best out of your game and increase your performance. First of all, the sound volume settings. The effects are turned down and voice over IP is turned up because I like to hear what people are saying, and it's very difficult sometimes because the in-game sounds are not that balanced right now. Next, the music is turned down all the way because I find it disturbing because you have to listen for shots just as it was the case in the DayZ mod. So I suggest turning the music down unless you're really a atmosphere fanatic. But I can tell you the DayZ atmosphere is good without music as well. The master volume, of course, however you want to have it. Next, the game settings perspective. Third, I increased the field of view, and that's because first you can spot enemies much faster, you have a larger field of view. Just make sure not to turn it up too far because then it'll be harder. And second, it increases your FPS. And on the first perspective, increasing the field of view also increases the FPS for me. We can test that. That's 41 FPS. And this is 48 for me. It is not that much of an increase. You don't want to zoom too far out because that'll make the game a bit harder and so on. So just go with perspective first, and then something about halfway should be fine. Just find your personal settings. Now, as for the most important settings, video. The overall quality setting, of course, set it to custom because I suspect you're not satisfied with the overall quality settings that are available. Next, the rendering resolution. Be aware that this is not the game resolution, it is the rendering resolution. And I suggest setting it to 100 unless you have severe performance issues. Then you might set it down a little bit. The brightness, it's turned up, mainly because of two reasons. First of all, the nights are dark as shit and you can't see anything unless you have flashlight, of course. And second, the colors are much better, in my opinion, for the brightness turned all the way up. And gamma, turn it down just a little bit. It will increase the atmosphere again, and the colors are much better. But again, I can only tell you that you should set this to your personal preference, and all monitors are different, so you want to choose different things there. Now for the vertical synchronization VSync, I chose enabled. Sometimes it does really help, but in most cases it won't help you. In my case it does. I suggest playing a while without and then turning it on, and you'll have to see if you can find the difference. Now the user interface resolution, of course, in my case 1920 times 1080. You want to go for whatever you like right there. It doesn't have to do anything with the performance. Textures, video memory auto, texture detail very high, and texture filtering normal. If you have performance issues, this is the last thing I change, and it doesn't really change that much. We can test it. Okay, takes a while to load. Yeah, it's an increase of about 2 to 3 frames, to be honest. But as you can see, it looks much better this way. Now texture filtering, normal, also for the performance. Next, rendering. First of all, right here, choose normal. Anything higher is unnecessary. And lower doesn't look very good. Alpha to coverage, go for all trees plus grass. Unless you have severe performance issues again, then you want to go for disabled. Edge smoothing, SMAA low. I find that SMAA normal looks quite cartoonish, and I don't like that for this game. Unless you're a big fan of The Walking Dead, then you might want to check that. HDR quality, go for very low performance issues with that. Ambient occlusion, disabled. And post-process quality, go for very low, because I really hate the effect of post-process quality. I really hated it in DayZ's mod as well. So go for very low. It doesn't really change that much, or it does change that much, but very low is probably the best looking setting. The rotation blur is turned down all the way, because I don't want like a blurry sight when turning my head. And bloom turned down a little bit. You want to adjust that to your likings, but you don't want to turn it all the way up, because it doesn't look that good. Oh, like that. That's amazing. Now, did we cover that already? I'm pretty sure we didn't. And now objects, very high. Terrain, normal. Clouds, very high. And shadows, normal. If you have performance issues, I suggest turning down either shadows or alpha 2 coverage. And after that, if you still have performance issues, I suggest turning down again anti-aliasing, probably. And then, well, it's going to get a bit hard. You have to turn down the clouds probably and the objects, but don't turn down the textures, because they don't take that much performance away, but they look really good. Okay, so that was the basic guide to DayZ Standalone. Note that this is, of course, early access of the game, and the settings might change in the future. If there are noticeable changes, and they really change my settings a lot, then I'll do another video. Right now I'm pretty much starving and I need a drink, so I'm going to continue playing. I hope you liked this video, and I'll see you guys next time.